Hi everyone and welcome to the video. It's Jess from the Sweater Collective here, and today I wanted to walk you through how I made my Stitchmas trees. These are Christmas tree ornaments that I crocheted to decorate our home during the holidays, and I was inspired to make them after looking at my collection of stitch markers, particularly these little round ones, and thinking, they look a lot like mini baubles. Stitch markers with clip findings can of course be attached and removed from our projects at any point in time. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to make a tree that could hold and display my marker collection during the holiday period to get those markers out from the bottom of project bags and into the limelight. We don't have a lot of room in our little unit for storing holiday ornaments the rest of the year, so these trees are deliberately subtle and a little bit abstract, so if they are out on display for a few extra months, they won't look too out of place. I hope you enjoy making your own Stitchmas tree. You can find the free written instructions for this pattern on my website, and I'll leave a link to those in the description box below so you can follow along with me. Let's first take a look at what materials you'll need for this project. You'll of course need yarn. I'm using DK weight or 8-ply yarn, and the exact yardages for the different size trees can be found in the written pattern instructions. This is one of those patterns where you could easily use alternative weights of yarn to make bigger or smaller trees too, and you just need to adjust your hook size accordingly. Before you start crocheting, you may need to locate the second end of your yarn and make sure it's accessible, or wind off and save enough yarn for working the tree's foliage. This is only necessary if you're wanting to work the foliage in the same colour as the tree body. If you're using a contrast colour for the foliage, just pick out your chosen colour and set it aside for now. You'll need 2 sizes of crochet hook for this project. The larger size is for the body of the tree, and the smaller size is for working the applied ruffle or foliage. I found that a smaller hook for the applied ruffle made it easier to pick up and work into the stitches of the tree body. You'll also need a couple of removable stitch markers, scissors, a tapestry needle, your choice of stuffing, and a small piece of felt is optional. Plus, you may like to collect together the stitch markers you'll display on your tree and have a pom-pom to sew to the top. Just a quick safety note, this tree is only designed to be used as a decoration and not as a toy, because if you're adding removable attachments like stitch markers and items that can shed yarn such as pom-poms, these additions can pose a choking hazard for young children and pets. So only use the Stitchmas tree as an ornament out of reach of young children and pets. Okay, let's jump into the demonstration. The Stitchmas tree is worked in the round from the top down, and for the body of the tree we'll be doing back loop or back leg only crochet to create these lovely ridges. Please also note that we're using US crochet terms. We'll start with a magic ring, chain 1, and then for our first round we'll single crochet 6 times into the ring. Then pull your tail of yarn tight to close the centre hole. Skip the initial chain we made, and then we have instructions in parentheses which we need to work through twice. We single crochet in the next stitch, remembering to only insert our hook into the back leg of the stitch. And I'll pop a marker on the top of this first stitch to mark my beginning of round. Then single crochet twice in the next stitch, single crochet in next stitch, and then back to the start of the repeat, we single crochet in next stitch, single crochet twice in the next stitch, single crochet in next stitch, and that's the end of our second round where we should have 8 stitches. Round 3, we single crochet twice in the next stitch, moving the beginning of round marker to the first of those stitches, single crochet in next 3 stitches, and repeat through that again to single crochet twice in the next stitch, Then single crochet in next 3 stitches, so we end with 10 stitches. Round 4, we single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet twice in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then again, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet twice in the next stitch. And single crochet in the next 2 stitches to end with 12 stitches in total. I'll work through rounds 5 to 7 now, which is just a continuation of this patterning. We're adding 2 new stitches every round, and this creates a 3-dimensional cone. We're also alternating between increase points in our round so that we don't stack every single increase in the same place and end up with an unbalanced pointy shape. In an odd numbered round, our repeat is that we increase, then work the same number of stitches that our round number is. And in an even numbered round, our repeat is that we work half the number of stitches that our round number is, then increase, then work half the number of stitches that the round number is again. When we get to round 8, we have special instructions. So we single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're told that we need to place a removable marker in the top front leg of this completed stitch and leave the additional marker there until instructed otherwise. What I'd recommend if you're using a beginning of round marker is to place this in the back leg of the stitch so your additional marker can sit uninterrupted in the front leg of the stitch. Then we need to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Single crochet twice in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 8 stitches. Single crochet twice in the next stitch. And single crochet in the next 4 stitches to take us to the end of the round where we should have 20 stitches. I need to remember as I move into round 9 that the marker in the front leg of the previous round's first stitch has to stay there. It's going to show us where to start the applied ruffle a little later. Round 9 begins by single crocheting twice in the next stitch. I need to remove my beginning of round marker in the back leg of the stitch in order to make the increase. Then place the marker in the top of the new first stitch of the round. Leave the additional marker and single crochet in each of the next 9 stitches. And repeat the instructions in parentheses by single crocheting twice in the next stitch. Then single crochet in each of the next 9 stitches. And that completes round 9 where we should have 22 stitches. The rest of the tree body is straightforward. You'll continue the patterning as established, adding 2 stitches every round and making sure you're always working into the back leg of your previous stitches. If you're making a small tree, you'll work 34 rounds in total and have 72 stitches when the tree body is complete. And that's what I'll work to for my project. If you're making the large tree, you just keep increasing until you've worked 50 rounds in total and have 104 stitches. When we reach our desired stitch and row count, we can weave in the tail from the magic ring so we don't forget to do it. And then we'll leave the tree body fabric on hold. It's a good idea to clip a marker through the loop on your hook before you put the larger hook aside to make sure your stitches aren't going to unravel. Now we're going to crochet an applied ruffle to make the tree's foliage, and we need to grab our smaller hook and the yarn we've chosen for the foliage. You want the tip of the tree to stay pointing downwards with the right side of the tree body fabric facing out. For round 1, we'll return to the marker we placed back in round 8 of the tree body and insert the smaller hook under the exposed front leg of that marked stitch, making sure we're not poking our hook through to the wrong side of our work. Then remove the marker. Yarn over with your chosen yarn. Bring the hook through to the front of your work. Then yarn over and draw it through the furthest loop to have attached your yarn and worked a chain 1. We'll make a single crochet into the front leg of this same stitch again. And then we'll continue working around the tree body into each of these exposed front legs. Staying in the same round of the tree body to where we are currently, we'll single crochet twice in every stitch 19 times. I try to keep my tension relatively loose as I work so that the stitches will ruffle beautifully. Now we're back to our beginning. We're going to start jumping up through the rounds of the tree body so we can space the tiers of foliage a few rounds apart. Working away from the tip of the tree body that's still pointing downwards, we'll find the stitch to the left of where we just increased. Then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round. And single crochet twice in the front leg of this stitch. Again, find the stitch to the left of where we just increased, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round. Single crochet twice in the front leg of this stitch. For a third time, find the stitch to the left of where we just increased, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round. Single crochet twice in the front leg of this stitch. Place your removable marker in the tree body stitch directly above where the latest increase was just worked. And now we'll stay in the round of the tree body where we made the latest increase to work through our following round 2 instructions. This tier of foliage is taller than the last one, so we're going to double crochet twice in each stitch until there are 3 stitches remaining before the marker. There are 3 stitches left here before the marker, and again we'll jump up through the rounds of the tree body. Find the stitch to the left of where we just increased, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, double crochet twice in this stitch. Again, find the stitch to the left, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, double crochet twice in this stitch. And for a third time, find the stitch to the left of where we just increased, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, double crochet twice in this stitch. Place the removable marker in the tree body stitch directly above where the latest increase was just worked. Stay in the round of the tree body where we made the latest increase to work the following instructions. This is round 3 where we'll go back to our single crochet stitches. We're going to single crochet twice in every stitch until there are 3 body stitches remaining before our marker again. And just as before, find the stitch to the left of where we just increased, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, single crochet twice in this stitch. Find the stitch to the left, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, single crochet twice in this stitch. For a third time, find the stitch to the left, then skip up to the stitch directly above it in the next tree body round, single crochet twice in this stitch. So every tier of foliage is being placed 4 tree body rounds away from the last one. And at this point, I'll start repeating rounds 2 to 3, so I alternate between a round of taller stitches and a round of shorter stitches. You want to repeat rounds 2 to 3 another 2 times if you're making a small tree, and another 4 times if you're making a large tree, ensuring that you end your final repeat where the asterisk is placed in the pattern. This is my final work through of round 3, and this time around when I get to 3 stitches before the marker, I'm not going to jump up into the next tree body rounds, which I've run out of anyway. I'll stay in the current round and single crochet twice in each of those last 3 stitches. Which takes me to my marker. And at this point my foliage is complete, so I can break the yarn I was using for the foliage and draw it through my final stitch, remove the marker, then weave in the ends from the foliage to secure them. We can now return to finishing the tree body, so we'll need to put the smaller hook away and grab the larger one again. Return the loop from the tree body to the hook and prepare to work with the tree body yarn again. Here's where we're going to start decreasing to turn the tree into an enclosed shape and create a base that it can stand on. The round number you'll start with for the tree base depends on which size you're making. The larger size has a larger base, so there are more rounds and you'll have more stitches between your decreases to start with. I'm making the smaller size, so I'll join the base instructions at round 5 as written in the pattern. I need to single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. Then single crochet 2 together. So insert hook in next stitch, yarn over, draw loop to the front of work, insert hook in stitch after that, yarn over, draw loop through to the front of work, then yarn over and draw this yarn over through the furthest 3 loops on the hook. These instructions are in parentheses, so I repeat them a total of 8 times. Single crochet in next 7 stitches, single crochet 2 together, and when you've worked 8 total repeats, you should have reached the end of the round and have 64 stitches. Like with our increasing through the tree body, we're going to alternate our decrease points in the base to get a nice even shape. So the next round is round 6, even though in reality it's only round 2 of my base. And here we need to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then single crochet 2 together, and then the instructions in parentheses that will work 7 times in total is to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, single crochet 2 together, keep repeating that, and after the 7th time, we single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, which takes us to the end of the round again, and we should have 56 stitches. Keep decreasing as written until you're left with 24 stitches. At this point, we've almost entirely closed the base of the tree and we need to stop so we can fill the tree with stuffing. You can stop and do this at an earlier or later point if you prefer, as long as you're able to easily reach into this hole to add the stuffing, but it's also not too big. You might like to pop the loop from your hook on a stitch marker again so that your stitches don't unravel while you're adding the stuffing. I like to break off small pieces of stuffing to tuck into the tree so that if they compress over time, they won't turn into significant lumps and bumps. It can take a little while to stuff the tree if you're doing it carefully, but I think the results are worth the extra effort. Keep stuffing until your tree is the desired size and shape. Now this is optional, but if you cut a small circle of felt and tuck it over the top of the stuffing when you're done, it will stop the stuffing from getting caught around your hook while we crochet the final 2 rounds of the tree. In round 11, we single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, 8 times in total for an end count of 16 stitches. And then in round 12, we just single crochet 2 together 8 times so that we end up with 8 remaining stitches. Break your yarn, draw it through the final stitch, and then thread the tail onto a tapestry needle to run it around the 8 stitches and cinch the hole closed. I like to weave in the tail a little bit too, then poke it into the middle of the tree to hide. At this point, we're all done crocheting, and if we want, it's time to decorate the tree. I like clipping stitch markers to the taller tiers of foliage and sewing a pom-pom to the top of the tree to act as a whimsical topper. It's hard to stop at making just one Stitchmas tree, and you might like making a few in different colours and between the sizes. For the stripy version of the tree, I actually took lots of tapestry wool hanks that I was lucky enough to have been gifted a little while ago and used magic knots to join them all together along with some other leftover project scraps, then wound them all together in a cute gobstopper ball. If you're interested, you can check out the description box below for my all-in-one tutorial on how to do magic knots and wind gobstopper balls. Once the yarn was ready, I followed the pattern instructions exactly as written, and by default the yarn created different size stripes in the tree body. I cut and swapped around a couple of the colours if I didn't like their placement as I crocheted, and made sure that when I reached a knot, I didn't let it pop through to the right side of my work. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on similar future videos, and let me know if you have any questions or feedback by leaving it in the comment section below. Happy crocheting, and I'll see you next time.